What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Dustin Poirier sends a warning to Islam Makhachev. At UFC 302, Dustin Poirier will look to dethrone Islam Makhachev and capture lightweight gold after coming up short in his previous 2 attempts as a challenger. Now in the twilight years of his career, Poirier explained during a recent episode of the MMA Hour that he believes a win over Makhachev in June to secure UFC gold would complete his story with a Rocky-like ending.
Right, and I understand the threat in front of me June 1st. The pound-for-pound #1 guy. Khabib's pupil, if you want to say. Like, I understand the challenge against me, but man, what a way to finish a story. You can't write a book or a movie, and if I pull this off, and you write a book or a movie and make people think it's real, you know, it's like a real-life Rocky story. But I'm that guy to do it. I 100% believe in myself. I think and believe and feel every night when I go to sleep that I'm going to be the world champion June 1st.
Ahead of the fight, Poirier knows that Makhachev's main goal is to eventually move up to 170 pounds. As he explained, ATT coach Mike Brown recently indicated he feels as though the champ may be underestimating the diamond.
And I think what he's referring to is the interview of Islam saying this is an easy fight for me. You know, I was tagged in a bunch of stuff on Instagram and Twitter. That's where I see a lot of the info of him saying that. And dude, I don't know, maybe he goes about all fights like that, but I can finish and beat anybody at 155 pounds in the world. I really believe that. And he doesn't have to believe it. I'm the one who has to believe it. And I'm the one who has to go out there and beat his ass. You know, I can do that.
Of course, as Poirier knows, defeating the champ is easier said than done. And in the case of Islam Makhachev, the former interim champ believes his skill set is more versatile than Khabib Nurmagomedov's.
I think his submission game, jiu-jitsu wise, is a little bit more versatile than Khabib's was. Khabib had some chokes that he did really well, but Islam's, you know, putting himself in, you could say, bad positions, going for arm bars. You know, maybe he loses a position, but he trusts his wrestling to get it back. I think he's a little bit more of a threat jiu-jitsu wise in scrambles, but I think his striking's better than Khabib's, yeah.
Heading into the fight, it seems as though one thing is certain. If the opportunity presents itself, Dustin Poirier will be looking to jump a guillotine. Next up, let's take a look at Conor McGregor reacts to comments. Heading into his highly anticipated UFC 303 fight with Michael Chandler, Conor McGregor is eager to prove that despite taking several years off and suffering one of the worst injuries we've seen inside the octagon, he still has what it takes to compete at the highest level. Of course, on the flip side, given his age, inactivity, and the aforementioned injury, there are many who believe the sport has passed McGregor by. During a recent appearance on the MMA Hour, MMA veteran turned analyst Dan Hardy explained why he's confident McGregor will be able to get the job done.
I can't underestimate McGregor's ability. Like, he's done very special things at very tense and high pressure moments in his career, but he has an ability to control and manage and create illusions with range. Like, that's a very high level operating system, and that's not something that you lose by hanging out on a yacht and enjoying your life. I still feel like he's got that refinement in his game, and Michael Chandler's not the guy that he was in Bellator when he was, you know, he was cautious and he was picking his shots.
McGregor was quick to react to Hardy's comments, reposting the clip while writing, "There's levels, and in 7 weeks and 5 days, you are going to see the very top level. This next run is for the clan. #been ready." He then followed it up with another post, writing, "Not on my level, not even close." With the fight right around the corner, it'll be interesting to see how McGregor looks when he finally returns to action on June 29th. Next up, let's take a look at UFC reveals a huge fight. On the heels of the UFC 301 card in Brazil over the weekend, the UFC has announced a massive bantamweight bout between Corey Sandhagen and Umar Nurmagomedov for August 3rd in Abu Dhabi. The fight has been months in the making after the pair's UFC Fight Night Nashville showdown was canceled last year. Despite that, many fans still wanted to see the two bantamweights throw down. With the #1 contender spot likely on the line, the UFC's official announcement sparked a number of reactions among the MMA community as a whole. As Ariel Helwani wrote, 363 days after they were first scheduled to fight, big one. Another member of the community indicated that with a win, Sandhagen should be next in line for a crack at the title, writing, "Corey needs a title shot after this one." Another member of the community added, "Umar's first real test. Let's see if he really is who he thinks he is, because Sandhagen is the real deal and is close to a title fight. I think if he takes out Umar, he should be next title contender after Merab." As one fan wrote, Sandhagen's step down in competition is interesting. 3-win streak over top 8 opponents and now gets matched up with number 9. Corey is the worst at shooting his shot, blimey. On the flip side, one member of the community questioned why Nurmagomedov was getting a fight with a top-ranked contender in Abu Dhabi, writing, Umar has 0 ranked wins and is somehow getting a number 1 contender fight against Sandhagen, and it's in Abu Dhabi. It's comical how much special treatment these guys get. That oil money is controlling Dana at this point. So far, the UFC has yet to book any other fights on the card. However, with the 2 streaking contenders eager to stake their claim to a title shot, the promotion is off to a great start. Next, let's take a look at Dana White reacts to embarrassing footage. There's certainly no love lost between UFC CEO Dana White and Tito Ortiz. The pair once had a great professional relationship until things went south. That almost led to a potential boxing match. While the pair never met in the ring, they continued taking verbal jabs at each other on more than one occasion throughout the years. Recently, back in August and September, the two were really going at it, with White alleging that Ortiz would threaten to back out of fights in order to get more money out of the UFC back in the day, and the former champ comparing fighting in the UFC to slavery. While things between the pair had been uneventful since then, Tito Ortiz was recently seen on video accidentally hitting himself in the head with a microphone while attempting a mic drop. Dana White reacted to the video saying, "That's my boy." White, of course, wasn't the only one to have a laugh at Ortiz's latest blunder. In addition to someone joking about the moment on the video, the MMA community was quick to get their jokes in as well, given the former champ's long history of hilarious moments. Now, let's shift gears and take a look at Tom Aspinall reacts to Jon Jones' call-out. UFC heavyweight champion Jon Jones may not be retiring from competition after his upcoming fight with Stipe Miocic after all. In a series of posts on social media over the weekend, Jones discussed the heavyweight title picture with fans. At one point, the champ notably wrote that after returning to the gym following surgery, he's beginning to think about a future fight beyond his upcoming bout with Stipe Miocic. While the fight still doesn't have an official date, Jones toyed with the idea of potentially fighting Alex Pereira if the stars align. The comments sparked some blowback from fans, who made it clear that if Jones is going to fight anyone after Stipe Miocic, it should be interim champion Tom Aspinall. As he wrote, "You actually think me fighting Tom would be more massive than Alex and I colliding? Tom only matters in the UK. Newsflash. Pereira is one of the most polarizing figures this sport has seen. Tom's a contender who won a belt against another contender. We had to save Madison Square Garden's main event. I'm thinking dollar signs, legacy, big picture here. Not what UK fans are dying to see. Literally just went through this with French fans." During a recent interview with TNT Sports, Tom Aspinall reacted to the situation.
If we can get old mate John to ever sign a contract with my name on the other side of the contract, I'll talk about him for hours on this show. Hours. But right now, the guy's playing games. Again, trying to convince the public of what he wants and what he doesn't want, which he does really, really well. And as I said, we can chat about John if and when he ever signs a contract with my name on the other side of it. Because right now, let's be honest, it's not looking very likely.
In the meantime, the expectation is that Aspinall will return to action this summer to defend the interim title at UFC 304. However, so far, the UFC has yet to make an official announcement regarding an opponent. Next, let's take a look at Sean O'Malley's response to Conor McGregor. Sugar Sean O'Malley is switching up on former champ Conor McGregor. While the bantamweight champ wants his career to follow a similar trajectory to McGregor's in terms of pay-per-view stardom, he wasn't too pleased after finding himself on the receiving end of a verbal jab from McGregor over the weekend. While taking aim at Ryan Garcia for allegedly using a banned substance named Ostarine, McGregor also took aim at O'Malley for his previous testing failure in 2018. Writing in a since-deleted tweet, "I am actually disgusted. This Ostarine, it reminds me of Sean O'Malley. Was on that as well. I don't like this. I'll bust yous both up. Do yous want to spar? I will set flights right now for you both to do a full-on spar each. Hotel, Black Forge Inn, the lot. Let's spar, O'Malley and Garcia. 2 little Ostarine heads. I'll ride you both like yous are ostriches." During a recent episode of the Timbo Sugar Show, O'Malley responded to the verbal jab, indicating that he's changing up on McGregor in the wake of the call-out and joining Team Chandler for UFC 303.
Yeah, that's crazy what Conor did to do. Oh yeah, Conor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Conor, man. I seen a lot of people being like, "Damn, I bet Sugar's sad." Sugar always just talks nothing but great about Conor and like he's this fucking idol and like, and then he just went on a little tweet rant, booger sugared up talking. I thought he's out for a spar. I'm like, bro, I was more sad than mad. I'm like, God, Now I cannot wait to see Michael Chandler absolutely just sleep him. I'm turning up. I'm changing up real quick. Conor.
What, Conor?
When your idols turn into rivals.
While O'Malley previously wanted to share a card with McGregor, the two may not be on the best terms now. Given the fact that McGregor's next fight is expected to take place at welterweight, it seems as though the odds of a potential fight between these two at 145 are slim to none. Next, let's take a look at Alexandre Pantoja calls out fighter after UFC 301. This past weekend in Brazil, Alexandre Pantoja defended his flyweight title for the second time in the past 6 months, defeating Steve Erceg in the main event of UFC 301. Pantoja has indicated he's not only looking to return to action by the end of the year, he's also hoping to work his way toward a fight with the consensus greatest flyweight of all time, Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. During this weekend's episode of the MMA Hour, Pantoja called out the flyweight GOAT.
Yeah, he's the GOAT, How I can say that, not say that, I think right now, after 2 title defense, I can speak a little bit about that, because I have a huge respect for Demetrius Johnson, I can try to compare myself with him, I think right now I can say something, I have more coins to put on the table, And I think that's a dream for me. That I don't like to say I have dreams because I want to live everything I have in my life. I think live is better to dream, But if I dream with something, it's fight with Demetrius Johnson,
Despite Pantoja expressing his respect for Mighty Mouse, the former flyweight kingpin wasn't all that impressed with Pantoja's recent victory over Steve Erceg. As he explained in a video for his YouTube channel,
when I was watching the fight, I didn't feel like Alex Pantoja was a better fighter. I felt like Alex Pantoja, he's a champ, but I felt it's like, his grappling is his strongest suit. If you keep him away from his grappling, then he's pretty much, I feel, you can take advantage of him, right? He can't find the clinch. There was no elbows. There was no dumping him to the side. It was basically run at you with my hands down and punch and go for a takedown and then take you down. It's almost like he's getting through the fight. He's not excelling through the fight.
Of course, despite fans wanting to see the two fight, with Mighty Mouse happy under the One Championship banner, we'll likely never have a chance to see the two compete. Michael Chandler gets roasted by the MMA community after the UFC released a promo video for UFC 303. In the promo video, you can see Conor walk towards the camera, essentially leaving Chandler out of the promo video in general. This sparked the MMA community to roast Chandler. Here's what fans had to say. They didn't even put Chandler in the trailer. Dog, they said, we don't even need Michael. What's his name for the promo? Chandler is the cameraman. Michael Chandler is so busy waiting for the fight that he couldn't take part in the trailer. Is Chandler supposed to be getting marketed too? Bro, they really didn't give two f***s about Chandler. They just made a trailer for only Conor. Ha, I love it. Top comments. Dana didn't ruin anything. That man can go anywhere he wants with the UFC. They'd be the ones losing, not the UFC. Izzy, I beat that guy once. Smith, I think I could have, hypothetically, submitted that guy in a grappling match. Ilya vs. Volk was one of the most rugged fights I've seen in a while. Turning around that quickly after a nasty KO like that is almost always a recipe for failure. I really hope Volk gets that one back. Stipe is gonna get steamrolled so bad by Jones it could be a sad sight and the worst way to end an incredible career. Stipe is cooked, almost 42 and looked real, like real bad 3 years ago now, against Ngannou. He shouldn't be fighting, especially not against John Jones at this point in his career.